From achieving a record far out of Bolt's reach to facing something that could have ended his entire career, here's everything track fans need to know about the next Usain Bolt, Bouwahjgie Nkrumie. Jamaica has launched yet another star in the track world, and folks just can't get enough. Attention, people. Dr. Speed is here, and he's got the right fix for everyone. This 19-year-old has one and only one agenda in mind: to dethrone none other than Usain Bolt. I bet this is an unpopular opinion, but get this.
It doesn't has to happen, but it's possible.
Nkrumie did achieve something that even the Jamaican god of track couldn't. He ran the 100-meter sprint in 9.99 seconds, which is something Bolt could never do at 19. Currently, Nkrumie is the youngest Jamaican sprinter to cross the 10-second barrier, which is a spectacular achievement. One look at him, and you know that the future of Jamaican sprinting is bright. Of course, it's going to be a while before Nkrumie can take the crown of the senior Jamaican's head, but he's willing to put in the needed effort. After breaking the record, the young sprinter was filled with joy, but it was clear this wasn't the end of the line for him. He said it'll only get better from here. It's pretty cool that even breaking the record didn't satisfy him. Nope, the young man's gonna aim even higher. It's gonna be a while before he reaches Bolt-level greatness, but he's definitely on the right track, pun intended. The young champ hails from Jamaica, which is already a pretty big green flag for him. The country takes credit for producing sprinters like Johan Blake, Asafa Powell, and obviously the amazing Usain Bolt. All this just makes his success even more mind-blowing. He's left them all behind in the dust. It might seem like the star was born for the tracks. He's actually new to professional competitions. Just in April 2022, he ran a personal best at the 2022 Carifta Games, finishing a 100-meter sprint in 10.28 seconds and earning a silver. Things only got better from there. In the 2022 World Athletics Under-20 Championships, the young Jamaican set a national junior record time and earned another silver. And then came the ISSA Boys and Girls Championship, where he didn't only become the third junior ever to break the 10-second barrier, but also became the first Jamaican junior to run under 10 seconds. Before him, Trayvon Brommel crossed the barrier with a 9.97-second finish in 2014. After that, Letziel Tobogo joined the elite group with 9.91 seconds in 2022. And despite everything, Nkrumie still feels he can go faster. So his competition should better watch out. Speaking of, the rising star has already qualified for the World Athletics Championship 2023, which would be held in Budapest. And I'm sure he'll make his country proud there as well. When asked about his aspirations, Bouwahjgie usually remains silent. But there's one thing we know for sure. His number one goal right now is to make it to the World's Championship team. As for his preparation, Nkrumie has got it all figured out. Honestly, he just needs to continue doing what he's been doing. After all, he became the only guy in the world to run under 10, and that's regardless of age. Muhammadu Fall with a 10.06 seconds finish, and Jenyezi with a whopping 10.05 seconds finish did come close, but in the end, only Jamaica's Dr. Speed crossed that line. Honestly, everyone needs to stop what they're doing and pay attention to this young champ. He's out to accomplish what no one thought was possible: beat Usain Bolt. If things continue to work in his favor, then the champ has unprecedented success waiting for him. Have you ever wondered what's better than the best? Well, stay up to date with Nkrumie's career to find out. And as I mentioned before, the man is sure he can do better. He said, "I wasn't pleased with the execution in the final again." Nkrumie still thinks that he can run much faster once he executes his technique perfectly. Now, that's something we would all love to see. Oh, and here's some good news. We won't have to wait for long to see this becoming a reality. Oh no, the star thinks he'll be crossing all limits in the current season. He said, "The season is long. You'll definitely see me run faster down the line." Is he going to beat his own record now? I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see what Nkrumie gets up to later this season. His abilities on the track have left people in awe, and they can't help but compare him to Asafa Powell and Bolt. The common belief is that the young champ will change the sport. That's definitely a big responsibility. Do you think he'll rise to the occasion? After all, being called the upcoming star of Jamaican athletics is a big deal, especially when the country gave us absolute legends. Whatever the future holds for him, one thing is clear. He's got the attitude of a champ. The 19-year-old is always striving for more. And even after achieving the unthinkable at the young age of 19, he's still humble and modest. How often do you see that in today's world? One of the reasons behind his success is the fact that he never wavers. Nkrumie has his objectives defined, and he's committed to them. Even though he's pretty much boy wonder, the Jamaican remembers to give credit where it's due, which in this case goes to his coaches and their rigorous training program. The young sprinter has to go through extreme workouts and follow a strict diet, but that's not all. Nkrumie also thinks that mental training is just as important. He thinks your body can only get you so far, so keeping your mind on board is also crucial. And a positive outlook can really change your resilience. Sounds tough, doesn't it? Well, you don't break Bolt's record by just flailing your arms around the track, and to win, you've got to believe you're capable of doing that. Here's something that will make you love this young star. While he's all for giving it your everything, Nkrumie also understands his limitations. So, even after months of hard work, if he doesn't do well, the Jamaican will know that this means he's got some work to do. Disappointment? Nkrumie's never heard of that. This is probably why the more he runs, the more confident he gets. And here's something really cool. The 19-year-old is all about taking things slow. It's pretty easy to let fame get to your head, right? That's usually what happens. A young athlete performs exceptionally well, and the next thing you know, they're waving around guns in a strip club. But that's not the way Nkrumie is wired. In fact, he hasn't even dropped out of school yet, which is quite something since it would allow him to pursue sprinting full-time. And even though he got a lot of offers to drop out, the young Jamaican said no. It's clear that when it comes to his life, Nkrumie wants to be the only one in the driving seat, and he wants to take it step by step. That sounds pretty smart, don't you think? The end goal for him is to sprint across the Olympics finish line, but he's in no hurry to fast-track his accomplishments. The sprinter wants to take his sweet time and enjoy every bit of his success. Now, if you're fishing for some private details, then prepare to be disappointed. Bouwahjgie is all about keeping his life to himself. That's definitely refreshing in the current times. One thing I will say is that he's a family man. If he's got a day off, you can expect him to spend it with his loved ones. How wholesome is that? Okay, there's not much to tell about his private life, but I can tell you the story behind his nickname. The young sprinter was given the nickname by his father. Now, that just made this story so much better. You see, he heard it being mentioned on the radio and liked it so much that he thought his son should have it. Isn't that adorable? While there's nothing more we'd like to see than the young Jamaican wrecking all records on the track, there's a little bit of a problem. You know, the worst nightmare of every athlete, an injury. Chances are that all these eyes on Bouwahjgie may have jinxed his career. That's quite worrying for the young kid. His performance at ISSA might have left everyone shocked with a record-breaking finish, but his next sprint had a rather painful ending. He suffered from a grade 1 hamstring tear. Ouch! The opening day of the Carifta Games on April 8th brought a big scare for the Jamaican. What's even sad is that all odds were in his favor. But sadly, just in the race's final quarter, the poor guy snapped his hamstring in his right leg. It was so bad that the poor guy had to be carried off track. He couldn't even walk. Here's something even worse. The extremely calm Bouwahjgie we know couldn't even control his emotions. It was later announced that his expected recovery period was 3 to 8 weeks. In the beginning, pretty much everyone hoped it was a sprain, but MRI results showed otherwise, and boy was everyone shocked. The chances of him staying out of the season for a month are huge. Currently, the young gun is receiving treatment, and while he could resume training next month, his team is trying their best not to make things worse. So, from an injury that could ruin his progress to the dream of achieving far more than Usain Bolt, this was everything you needed to know about the next Usain Bolt Bouwahjgie Nkrumie.